Ciaphas Cain is always reminded by the fact that despite Frederick Jurgen being not very smart, he smells bad, he's addicted to porn mags. Will, as Colin has said in previous episodes, will jork it in a full room.
No, I said he's not jorking it. He's just reading. He's just having a look. He's warming up for later.
Hello there. She's lovely.
He has no etiquette. Will leave the dirty mag straight up in public view. Does not care.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Lorecrimes. Hello, you scallywags. How's it going?
Evening, morning, depending wherever you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's a good day today, guys, isn't it? It's a good day because it's again continuing the positivity. Good boys.
One episode of good things in Warhammer, and everyone said no, it can't be done, and we did it. And now we're doing a really contentious issue. Hal, I think you would be good at explaining this.
I'll say, should we preface that there is, in fact, because this is Warhammer, they are not morally good necessarily by our standards. So take a break, take a chill pill. We know some of these people are questionable.
Here's the thing. There's this pervading meme about everyone in Warhammer is evil, but I don't think that's the case. There's evil systems in place. There's evil organizations, but not everyone in the setting is evil. Some people are just trying to get by. Some people are trying to do good within a flawed system. But the pervading meme is that everyone's evil because they're part of an evil setting. It's no.
Oh no, sorry. I thought that was the end.
Yeah, go for it.
Jumped the gun a bit. Sorry. I think the factions, overall are all, there's this pretty evil going on. Some of the people in them are pretty, pretty fine folk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I think, we've although amongst the boys here, again, if anyone is new or listening, we are Lorecrimes and we have a Discord, so do go check that out because we often ask people to help you out, as in our last episode, Absolute Cinema. So do go check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all the Lore Criminals for helping out for your answers in that one. And again, we've chosen a selection of for our, I guess, to be fair, these are kind of our, each one is done by our favorite good characters in some sense, because obviously we all like various different aspects of the Warhammer verse. It's there's a lot of variety of opinions amongst, some people like as dirty Xenos, those poor people. So yes, some of the guys like that. But today we're going to go through and I guess give our best case as well as our kind of standout characters. And by the way, you should absolutely go check some of these guys out. We do highly recommend, probably we've chosen them, so highly recommend any other series that we're going to go off with. Who are we starting with, boys? I don't know if was it me I was like first or was it Andy?
Well, I think you said probably because I should get started because I've got a bunch of extra. I've had a look into this. Well, no, actually,
why is he purple?
This is a Son of the Phoenix. There's a
good.
brand new season pass of Space Marine 2, and I had 10 minutes to try it out before we started today.
We got loyal for real Emperor's children.
Well, he's part of the Imperial Fist successor pack, so
sure.
Imperial Fist. And I thought it'd be that usually there's some nice comics about these guys. We'll start the gameplay footage with him. But yeah, so I'll start us off because I know. Generally speaking, when people think, who are the good guys in Warhammer, people always think of the Salamanders. So I thought, well, instead of doing a generic, the entire Salamanders chapter/Legion, I'll briefly talk about Sakan. And Sakan is a Space Marine. He's a Primaris Space Marine from the Tithes / Pariah Nexus animations from Warhammer TV. This guy... in the animations, he drops on this planet that's being beset by the Necrons. He fights alongside a Sister of Battle, and his narrative arc, without spoiling much about the show, is that he's all alone. He's trying to piece together what's happened. There's a bunch of dead Ultramarines everywhere. The Necrons are rife, and he rescues a bunch of survivors, civilian survivors. There's an ecclesiarchy priest, there's a couple of children, and there's some adults. And he basically tries his best to make sure that they don't die during the campaign. Long story short, the animation ends with just the little girl alive before she's shot by the guardsman, but that's beside the point. Sakan,
huge.
Sakan himself does a really good job of trying to be like a hero of humanity, a protector and defender. He loses his arm during the show. And in the Tives episode where he has like a sequel moment, he even sides with a apothecary of the Ultramarines called Brutus, I believe it is. And he's basically like, oh, all my brothers have been killed by the Necrons. They're doing some experiments on their bodies. I need to go in there and retrieve their gene seed. And he's like, well, I'm not an Ultramarine, but I'm going to do the good thing anyway. And I'm going to help you retrieve their gene seed. Long story short, Brutus gets mauled by the Necrons after he harvests the gene seed. And so the last thing we see of the animation is Brutus giving the gene seed to Sakan while he evacuates and gets extracted by the Ultramarine Thunderhawks. And Brutus disintegrates into atoms because Necron guns are scary. Yeah, can't have a nice ending for Warhammer, but you can have nice gestures, I suppose. I tried to save the civilians. They're all dead. I tried to help the apothecary. I helped the apothecary. He's dead. But, you know, that's kind of what the Salamanders are about, like futile acts of goodness.
Look, if nothing else, the story ends with a guardsman shooting, a child in the face. Look, I was part of the education system for a bit. You'd shoot more kids. They're
Crazy.
awful.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I hate children.
Wow.
Wow.
You hear it here first, folks. Oh my gosh.
That is quite an unhinged sentiment. Jesus Christ. Is that the first offering?
You work with 100 of them a day and not be filled with hate towards anyone under the legal drinking age.
Yeah. I thought that'd be an easy way to start things off. Like Salamanders, get them out of the way. We know Salamanders. Other than when they're burning children of the Eldar variety, they are good boys.
Probably deserved. I don't know.
You pick a lane to stay in, Eli. I don't care which one it is. Just pick a lane to stay in. You love or hate him.
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, I have an honorable offering, which is just one moment, which is, I hate to say it, but the Grey Knights did in fact, after a craft world was basically decimated by Slanesh demons specifically, or is it Tyranids? I can't remember if anyone knows. It might have been either one of them.
About,
it's the one where the Grey Knights basically, they, through purging, I think chaos, or I think probably chaos because they're Grey Knights, they had come by the way of spirit stones, and seeing the fact that most other Imperials probably would have stomped on those shiny jewels at any moment, the Grey Knights did in fact give them back to the Eldar, and they were like, you didn't have to do that. That is in fact the souls of our dead who would be devoured for eternal hell, and you saved them, and that is a very kind moment thing to do.
Guys.
So the Grey Knights get one shout out.
And then Carden Vi took a cigar and he went, look, I'm supposed to kill chaos stuff. I don't give a damn about Xenos. That's not my job. I'll do my job. You do your job. We keep a distance. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Forget about it, said the Grey Knights.
Everyone was happy.
Yes.
But and then everyone in Warhammer 40k made up.
My first offering to the amazing people. This is an amazing series. I think everyone should go read. This isn't the Ciaphas Cain books, but this is not Ciaphas Cain. We are talking about Frederick Jurgen, who was the first classed gunner and basically personal aide of Ciaphas Cain. And I mean, where to start with this guy? I'm not going to start with his backstory because that is unimportant. There's a few things you need to know about Frederick, and if you wish to know even more, we do have a Ciaphas Cain episode, so do go check that out. Frederick Jurgen does not smell very good.
Correct.
The word.
Correct. He is what would you describe as an ugly man, not good looking man. He is in the Imperial Guard, and he is part of the Valhallans. Well, he's from Valhalla, part of many different regiments at certain times in his life, but mostly serves with the 4-5 6, or I can't remember the damn regiment name, but he serves with Ciaphas Cain, and his story begins basically when Jurgen is, again, he is particularly not the sharpest tool in the shed. He smells really bad. People, it's often a joke being like, oh, you have to go hang out with Jurgen. And the story begins when Ciaphas Cain essentially by accident sort of saves his life, and him being a commissar is awarded a personal aid, and this is Mr. West Country himself, Frederick Jurgen, who
I'm gonna say West
whenever
Right,
whenever
Commissar.
whenever Frederick Jurgen, whenever he does anything for Ciaphas Cain, he always says, "I'm coming, Commissar. Yes, sir."
Right,
It is
Yes,
called a
sir.
West Country English accent, and it is like a farming / like rural dialect initially, and it is
Alright, my
hilarious
lover.
every time it comes up.
Right there.
All right, my
We're gonna
lover
go
is
tell some
the
chaos.
phrase.
So go.
Yeah.
You want a cup of tea? That'd be Jurgen's
Yeah,
accent.
it's
basically.
he is the strongest Valhallan accent apparently, and the whole story is that this unsuspecting first class gunner, which has his own rank because for some reason he's not quite just a normal gunner in the Valhallan regiment, but he needs a special rank when he serves alongside Ciaphas Cain, who, as we know, is the biggest, silliest clown / biggest coward in the entire Imperium. And he would go on to join Cain from what would be the Valhallan artillery regiment into what would be a new regiment formed of men and women. And Frederick Jurgen, as himself, not being the brightest, like not sharpest tool in the shed, he's probably not quite aware of how much he stinks. And this is often a weapon in Ciaphas Cain's arsenal. And due to the fact of if Ciaphas Cain wishes to not be involved in a conversation for too long, he will call in Jurgen, who will then make everyone else hold their breath, because I'm sure it's described as like he smells like dry vomit or like dirty socks permanently. And he is often called in. He does lots of Ciaphas Cain's paperwork because he believes his utmost, because of his stupidity, he genuinely believes the lie that is Ciaphas Cain and believes every single word that he says. And in the beginning, you're like, oh, that's just quite funny. But then we move on to the story of where most of the Ciaphas Cain books sort of lead off from, which is the world of Gravelax, which is essentially a Gene Stealer cult uprising. Again, go check out the episode if you want to have more of that whole episode. We described the first book on that one. But essentially it boils down to Ciaphas Cain is always reminded by the fact that despite Frederick Jurgen being not very smart, he smells bad, he's addicted to porn mags. Will, as Colin has said in previous episodes, will jork it in a full like room.
No, I said he's not jorking it. He's just reading. He's just having a look. You know, he's warming up for later.
Hello there. Oh, she's lovely.
He has no etiquette. Will leave the dirty mag like straight up in public view. Does not care. His uniform will never fit him, even if it's tailored to his exact proportions. Because it just something about him, like he just cannot be put together correctly. And through the Gravelax story, we see that he gets his iconic melter gun, which he often uses to take down foes way more dangerous than a normal guardsman. I believe he even kills a Chaos Marine at some point, which is amazing. He would then, through this story, be exposed to be, well, in secret, only to Cain and Amberly Vale, the Inquisitor, that the reason for his other natureness and why he stinks about everyone kind of doesn't like him necessarily is the fact that he is a blank / he is a null. So the warp stuff around him is nullified, which means most of Ciaphas Cain's like sort of seeming luck in stories where he fights like an enemy that's completely outsizes them, it is because there's like a disorienting effect of being near Mr. Frederick Jurgen himself, which he has no idea that he's a blank at all. He just thinks he's like, oh, I just got lucky there, sir. You know, he has no idea. But the reason I put him on here because his loyalty comes from such a good place. Like he genuinely believes that Ciaphas Cain is like the greatest ever. He's a good guy. When Cain like goes on into the second novel that we haven't done the channel yet, when Cain has to basically go into a Necron tomb a second time, and it's almost like certain death. Jurgen literally volunteers his life to go with Ciaphas Cain, and Cain is genuinely like touched, being like, he genuinely will, like, you know, he'll die for me. This guy, like, he'll fight to keep me alive no matter what, because he genuinely cares about Cain. And also, last details about him: he has the ability to source food from anything. Like, he always has a sandwich on him that he scavenges from people. He brings Cain Tanner tea at every single waking moment, which is extremely bitter tea that Valheim's like.
He's got to be part Ratling, surely. He's got that same.
He's a walking.
Like, oh, I've always got a sausage in my pocket.
You're underestimating the human spirit to simply create one of the smelliest, ungroomed people on the planet. That's pure human, baby.
But I mean, he doesn't also understand other people's humor necessarily. He is inquisitive to like a baby in some sense, because he would straight up ask someone, "Oh, why is your baby ugly, sir?" You know, he would just say that.
And then Jurgen said, "Goo goo gaga, Commissar."
But and despite him being like, you know, he can't grow a full beard, he's quite not pretty to look at. But he will take down, like, he kills a Cheesian patriarch. He's killed. I mean, he's also, to be fair, not the dumbest when it comes to military tactics, as in even the most recent Ciaphas Cain books. It shows, like, when they're fighting like renegade Skitarii and other stuff, he'll literally be like, you know, we'll fake our deaths here, and then we'll go basically do a flanking maneuver. And then Cain's like, that's kind of genius. So absolute shout out to Mr. Frederick Jurgen, who just makes every Ciaphas Cain story hilarious. He's amazing.
A real one.
Absolute real dude. Colin, then, did you have anything to add to that one particularly?
Well,
because
whereas Hal went for for good old Jurgen, which is undeniably a great pick. I'm a
man of the people.
I was rather less creative, and I just want to talk about the man himself, Mr. Cain. You know, he's earned the title Hero of the Imperium. Even as you know, I'm sure you're well aware, he doesn't quite believe that himself. But you know, he's just a good person, and I think his crime is he's been, you know, he's a commissar, of course. So I'm half convinced that his unending like self-doubt and imposter syndrome just comes from the fact, you know, he was raised in the Scala Progenium, basically, which means he was taught that anything but the complete willingness to strap a grenade to yourself and run into the enemy lines means you're a coward.
Bear in mind, the Schola Progenium, one of them is said to have basically interred some of its more unruly students into the foundations of the walls.
Yeah.
As a reminder to be like, behave yourselves, or you'll be like Ben over here. Like, oh no, he's still got his mouth open screaming.
Cain's time in the Schola Progenium is pretty wild, I'm pretty sure, right?
We only know a little bit about it, but he seems to have spent most of his time doing everything he could to do the bare minimum of passing. Which, give him credit, right? Bare minimum of passing the Scala Progenium is still like Navy SEALs fucking training. So, you know, the bare minimum effort is still quite a bit. But even with that, you know, he was a bit of a slacker by those standards for everything but swordplay and athletics. And even then, he would have to play rugby with the Sisters of Battle, and very few people come away with that without a couple broken bones.
So are you saying he was that one guy who'd be at school who wouldn't do any homework and he wouldn't do any prep for exams, but he'd still somehow turn up on the day and get through without a problem? Like, ugh.
Yeah, he'd be that guy.
He did do well.
He did well enough, and you know, this is a controversial statement, but good enough by definition is good enough. So he was doing that. But
by then, school.
I was the kid who showed up without studying and made it through. So
yeah, maybe.
Oh, I hate you.
Oh, yeah.
I hate you so much.
Talk about it for another time. I would piss off some of my friends so much with that. Unrelated, but no, it's you read the Cain books, and you know, he's always going on about how He just doesn't want to get shot. Every good action he takes is solely determined by he needs to live up to the reputation, or because it's just totally the thing that makes the most sense in the long run. And, you know, again, fair's fair. Sometimes, you know, you believe him. Some of the things he does, it's like, all right, you were probably just trying to save your own skin. See all of the countless stories that begin with him trying to find a nice position away from the front lines. And then that's where the secret bad things were happening that he just kind of trips into. You know, that does happen quite frequently. But most of the rest of the time, he's pretty clearly either maybe lying to himself because he knows someone's going to read the memoir. He knows Amberly's going to read those memoirs. No way in hell. He wasn't at least partially aware she was going to take a look at some point. And also just, you know, doesn't believe in himself much. For example, you know, good old Jurgen, right? This is, you know, this will tie it together a bit with Hal's segment. There's when Cain was his lover of the book was an imperial governor's daughter who was wanted to not, you know, be she wanted a romantic life of adventure, not quite realizing the setting she was in and what adventure usually means in 40K. She was bad mouthing Jurgen a bit, and you know, this isn't the most courageous example, but she was mean to Jurgen, and Cain almost immediately went like, "Now, Jurgen, don't worry about it. You're doing just fine." And then he just tells her off for like a whole paragraph worth of like, "Hey, that's a guardsman. That is my aide. He has done great work for decades. You shut your goddamn mouth." It's like, even like that's just like a nice thing, right? Like even the good other people that like in Warhammer is like, yeah, they're probably good guys, circumstances permitting, right? They're not always like doing nice things like that. That was just Cain, like, no, that's my pal. You leave him alone, asshole.
That's like the equivalent of his mangy dog that's been there through thick and thin and bitten anyone that's tried to hurt him. It's like, you leave my mutt alone. He smells, but he's happy.
He's a loyal dog. He's a good boy.
It just reminds me of the bit where Hal was talking about him doing the paperwork. Could you imagine the administratum guy just being like, paperwork, and you get this package, just go, ha. Just like there's like a bit of stank on the pages still. What is that?
Oh, yeah, Jurgen handled this one.
From?
But I don't know. It's like, that's just like nice, right? That's just plain nice. He's just being a good person. Like, stop bad mouthing my friend, asshole.
What would you say is as the person who probably knows him almost best, Inquisitor Amberly Vale, who basically is the one reading his memoirs for the listener, what would you say her assessment of Cain is, since she's the one who kind of knows what he's really about?
She knows he is like he's not. She's very well aware his reputation is. He does not completely live up to it, at least in terms of like how other people view him, right? Like he doesn't charge into battle. Like, oh, pardon the diabetes. One moment.
I'm gonna die.
No, his pancreas has started working. Oh no!
God, I wish. I if that happened spontaneously, I might break down crying.
Bruh.
Unrelated. She knows he's, you know, he's scared more often than not. There's even a bit where Cain, like in his memoirs, writes, now I don't think, you know, I consider myself a fairly brave person, and her notation is just ha. But she knows he's a good guy. Like she'll point out multiple times in like the footnotes, like, well, you see, Cain, everyone was excited and fought harder when you showed up because they're really impressed by you and they want to look good in front of you because everyone thinks you're pretty kick-ass. There was one point I read all of these books in like 2 months. I'm going to be honest. They all blend together in the titles. But it was the one with the Talarn Desert Raiders and Thomas Beige, the shithole commissar.
Oh, yeah, the third book, yeah.
Yeah. They went to arrest Cain as well as some of the other you know, people who might have been a little bit too connected to him. And before really anything can even happen, every guardsman around him just frame one reaction, points their guns at the other commissar, which they're pointing a gun at a commissar. Usually, at least, I'm not going to say people don't love executing their commissars sometimes. Catacan makes that a sport. But even then, they kind of usually do that like quietly off to the side, or at least wait till they're asleep to, drop a grenade in their tent and say, it must have been the orc sniper or some nonsense.
And to be fair with the Catachans, are just like, they just let like the equivalent of a Venus trap for humans sorted out for them. It's like, he wandered into the nest of super bees. Oh no, what a shame. The wildlife will do it for me.
And so he's such a good commissar and leader that they went to defend him on the drop of a hat against another commissar, which circumstances, notwithstanding, all of the heresy right there. That is not that is an offense that would get everyone there executed in normal circumstances. But they didn't care. That was their Cain in danger, and they were like, no, you're not getting away. I don't care who you are. You could be the emperor himself. Do not give a shit. And when the other commissar raised his gun, he had a funny line, half funny, half heartwarming, where he's like, first of all, no one executes my men but myself, which incidentally, he doesn't really do that very often. And second of all, he said, if you pull that trigger, you're going to be dead before the first body hits the ground. So he stands up for the people under him, which he always says, the classic, and we'll talk about Cain more in the future, I'm sure. He very reliably will say, I'm just doing it to save my own skin, because if they like me, then they'll keep me safe. But after like the 100th time that happens, it's like, I think you just have a conscience.
A nice guy.
I think you're just not a monster. I think
you have the rare gift in Warhammer of being humble.
Yeah, I mean, he's mentioned it a couple times in a few different books. Like he has like a mental wall of everyone he's either had to execute or died under his watch. You don't, if you're standard commissar man who just wants to, keep order no matter what, you don't have the mental PTSD list that keeps you up at night of everyone who, for one reason or another, you've had to execute. And again, he himself will say he does not execute guardsmen, in the normal way, where you ran away. Don't do that, because if for no other reason, then that's one less gun pointed at the enemy now.
At one point, it was my back, to be fair.
Yeah, it is somewhat self-serving, but it is also just a good person. Like when he got the 597 together, he made them all, make up, be friends. He did it so well that the regiment's main problem was now they kept getting each other pregnant. So he certainly did a good job keeping order. But he was like their nanny for a bit. There was a throwaway line where it's like sometimes he would watch over these babies, like whenever like they're on campaign, and like, well, I'm kind of on a military campaign, and there's not exactly babysitters in abundance. Cain would pull up. Cain would pull through. He's just a good person. Like they're
crazy.
Very, very few times is there just like a decent fellow, no strings attached, and a commissar manages to do that. He's a good person all around. He's defended Regina Castine, his the leader of the 597th. He's threatened honor duels in response to someone bad-mouthing her. And that was incidentally one of the few times he wasn't afraid to lose, because the guy who was insulting Castine was a little overweight, little incompetent, not gonna lie. He's just willing to step up. He's a good dude. And sometimes he's very uncomplicated. He makes fun of Jurgen, but he loves his mangy dog.
He even says like he feels more reassured when he can smell him, which is
dude. It's because he knows Jurgen's there. Like at a certain point, it's like you just get used to it. He's like
smelling your own BO.
Yeah, it's like at a certain point, it's like, oh, dude, Jurgen's here. I can take on the world.
And he said,
"Wait, could you imagine
my stupid boy? Who's my stupid boy?" And he's like, "I am."
A wave of stale fart hits your nostrils, and you're like, "Ah." calmness.
It's really funny because at a certain point he's clearly used to it, but no one else ever is. So the books will be like, yeah, and then everyone else in the room starts like gagging, and Kane's just like, Jurgen, welcome. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you can tell whenever he enters the room, he just sees everyone else and they go, it's like, oh, he's walked in, somewhere over there.
Well, yeah, Kane's a real one.
He's a coward, but he's brave when it comes to saving other people's lives or protecting other people's lives. So absolute G. Again, we'll do more episodes, people. So we'll definitely keep covering. We should do another one of those actually soon. Because
pay your respects to Mr. Cain because he is a good human being.
So before we get to the next one, I think we have a few donations to get through. If that's all right, boys. Just
first one.
Donkey Man USA.
Stream late due to Hal gooning with Jurgen. Yeah.
Donkey Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic.
Thanks, man. He said that before I even got on stream. That's crazy. Oh man.
Techless's Bad Brass Bowl 1-to-1 scale Tarox dildo. Boy. Thank you for the 27 SEK. Colin, let's have a good wholesome stream today. You can't call me out. I understand, I say some out of pocket things. I'm not gonna lie. You can't accuse me with that as your name. I'm sorry.
If at any point dildo is in the title, you're disqualified.
No, incorrect.
Rayleigh, thank you for the $2. Eating my fellow man for the protein, going well. Nice point, God. PSP.
Hey yo,
love to see it,
bro.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my gosh.
Colin's.
All right, Hal, I think it's your turn now.
$6.99 Canadian. The most morally good character in 40k is Felicia Tabor, the omniscient strongest forklift certified tech adept from Ciaphas Cain, Death or Glory. Isn't she in 2 books as well? She's in the second one.
I think she is in 2. Yeah, she comes back later on.
Yeah.
Cain might have been hidden those
returns to the same. He returns to the same world, doesn't he? Later,
he does.
From Glass Laughter for 5. Guys, I got a Night Lord girlfriend. I am ready. At least she isn't an Ahriman girl.
Bro, be careful.
What does this even mean?
Be careful.
It means bros. No.
Bro's going to become very good at sewing, like tanned skin and going on a lot of DeviantArt pages, I'm sure.
It's very grippy is what that means.
My word.
The attraction for $4.99. I want a 40k follow-up novel where Warsmith Calcator and former Fifth Exemplar First Captain Zerberin are kissing sloppy style.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Man of culture.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a crazy sentence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really again?
Thank you. You guys and Summoner in the Discord got me hooked on Old World. Nice. Brought a few Dark Elf models. Nice. And I'll probably buy WOC. What does that stand for? Somebody tell me. Anybody?
Old World. Women of Culture.
Warriors of Chaos.
Okay. Or in the future, God help my terrible financial choices. Those sound like great financial choices to me. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because it's your happiness, bro. That's priceless.
Real for real. Real for real.
Angry
Homunculus. You take it, Con.
With the £2. Grey Knights, we're here to kill chaos, kill, maim, and then it cuts out. And sometimes the Sisters of Battle to make wards out of their blood. Thank you, Matt Ward.
I actually don't hate that, to be honest. It's over the top.
It is. It's true.
It's over the top. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
It's kind of funny.
Shalaxi's wettest gripper for 2 Canadian.
Of course.
Doth her Jurgen not be a competitive pervert?
No, he's a casual pervert.
It's called Gooner, actually.
He's just sitting in the corner reading his porn. He's not hurting anybody.
No.
He's not jacorking it.
Jacorking it?
Jacorking it.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
Stupid. Pancreas is Silly Clowns with the 20. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, man. Thank you.
Joining
you.
late, but I want to give my 2 cents. Sorry to get a little political, but I don't know if there are any good characters so long as they uphold the institution of servitorization and autocracy. Kind of evil and cringe, IMO.
We did
No, I
acknowledge
can't.
that.
Me, when anyone says a Primarch is a good person, that's
True.
Unless it's Sanguinius.
Only one of
or the
them.
Khan.
But only one.
Denver Cheese.
Cheese.
Nice. Thank you
Great
for the
name.
$4.99. Every Zangor ever, my scrunkly boys. This guy loves Zangors.
Scrunkly Blunkleys. Love them.
Nomius Chomsky.
Wow.
That is such a good name. 20 euros. Hey guys, hope you all are doing well. Saw a notification, immediately reminded of my number one boys, the Salamanders.
Aw.
Question for you all.
Love Sally's.
If you had the ability to have the Emperor say one thing, what would it be? Happy birthday, Cole.
what would I say to the Emperor? I don't even get the full name.
Ooh. Well, if you could say one thing,
I would.
I'd ask the Emperor to say nothing beats a
No.
jet to holiday.
No, it's you can say one thing to the Emperor.
No, if you had the,
Say to the Emperor
say
one
them
thing.
to the Emperor. Yeah, sorry. That is a
Say
big
to the
question.
I would say
God, I'm freezing up.
it's such a.
Have you heard of Ligma?
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Rough. That was rough.
And I'm wondering if he would remember that meme from this year, because it's obviously like 40,000.
Oh, I saw a comic about this. So he's like, ancient, right? He's quite old. He's been around since early human history. I think I would just tell him you lost the game and then leave.
Nice.
Try and end a nice 30,000-year streak he probably had going on that.
I'd ask him, hey, during your time, your myriad years on Earth before you became the Emperor, did you ever meet Sigmund Freud and what was his assessment? That'd be my question. Because he's a man of science. He's keeping up to date with that stuff.
Yeah, that's why his children got so messed up. He was Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
Bruh. That's a great name, by the way, for the channel.
Probably say some kind of goofy George Bush quote.
The second War Master has struck the Imperial Palace, my liege.
Oh, dear.
Colin, do you want this one?
Skarsnik's top guy, formerly known as Thanos. It is all Skarsnik now. That's right. The 50 NOK. Thank you.
Man.
It seems I'm no longer allowed to mention the nether region's outer skin and donut. How will I recover from this fight?
Wow. They're censoring donuts. Huh?
What?
Truly you are oppressed, Skarsnik.
Oh my god.
We will remember this still, don't worry.
This is our equivalent of the end times. We will not let this stand. Jonathan Solaris,
Thank you.
2. First stream, I love watching all your stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Welcome along. Thank you so much.
I had a turbo brain rot moment because for I never met anyone named Jonathan for the longest time. What I had watched was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I thought it was
oh my god.
I thought it was pronounced Jonathan for the longest time.
Wow.
Man, even Batman can get that out of me. Swiffy swap for $5. Twice dead King Diorius? Jaehaerys. I've never seen it written down. That's weird. Showing morality after he loses his soul with his engraved immortals and their deeds. Good story writing and character arc. Goated book.
Yeah. Bro stole one of my characters from my list. Now I don't want to talk about it, I guess.
You can still do that.
I will.
Yeah, you can expand.
Techless's
Torox
TM Dildo. Thank you for the SEK. More accurate name, loosening him for you now. Pancreas, no work. Wow. Crazy.
What a grim finale to the donos.
Oh my god.
Eli, would you please enlighten us with your first pick then?
Sure. My other two are really short, so I'll do my longer one, even though he's only in a novella, but it's fine.
Okay.
The GOAT, the biggest GOAT, maybe the best character in all of Warhammer. We all love him. Onshi of the Tau, the best ethereal, literally ever. Hasn't done a single bad thing in any book ever. He's just the GOAT.
Hasn't done anything,
He's
that's why.
even in the Farsight novels where they try to make the Ethereals look as terrible as possible, Onshi is still the good guy and is still a nice guy. He his kind of early appearance is when he goes to Arkunasha to tell Farsight that he has to go, and it sucks because Farsight's been fighting the orcs for like 10 years basically, which is a long time because Tau don't live as long as humans. I think they only live like 60 years. So he shows up. He's the reinforcements, but it's just him in like 2 crisis suits, and he says, "You got to go home, Farsight." But he promises reinforcement in the future, and he kind of consoles him the best he can. Even when they're like flying home, he's kind of telling him, and he's giving him philosophy lessons on why it's okay, and this is okay. You should feel better. But he's a blade master, best 1v1er in all of the Tau. He spends pretty much his entire life studying the blade. He's studying the blade while you were out doing Guela things. I was studying.
While you were out getting him while you were out getting an education, I was studying the blade.
But also, what he's more dedicated his life to is to understanding others and learning about all the different alien species in the galaxy so he can understand them and connect with them. He always tries to work things out with words, but of course, like I said, he's the Blade Master GOAT, so if it comes to it, he can 1v1, no problem. The only time he decides an entire race is evil and cannot be reasoned with is when he gets captured by the Dark Eldar and goes to Kamara and fights in the arenas and experiences firsthand the Dark Eldar, and he decides that they are basically the anti-greater good and they have to be destroyed. Which, speaking of the Dark Eldar, he does get captured. He does go to Kamara. He fights in the arena and he wins. He becomes famous in all of Kamara, known as the Dancing Blue Man. And he even is able to escape at some point, but he chooses to stay instead because some Earth Cast Tau were also captured. And so he stays and tries to help them and get them out. It's not really known how he escapes Kamara, but he is in events afterwards, so he gets out somehow. I'm not sure. Regardless, this guy is an ethereal, so his life is literally priceless. You could sacrifice 1 million Tau, and it would be worth it to sacrifice for an ethereal. But despite this, he consistently puts himself on the front lines in place of danger. He puts himself in between danger and the troops under him. He's often known as Shaz or Shaz Onshi, however you say it, because he spends so much time with the fire casts, and he likes to spend his time with the fire warriors on the front lines, motivating them, helping them out. He gained most of his fame on, I think it's called Feel Vash, which was a battle against the orcs, where he single-handedly 1v1s knobs and war bosses and leads the Tau to victory with incredible inspiration. He's just the GOAT. Even when he meets other Tau, before they know who he is, he sometimes doesn't even like to say that he's an ethereal because he doesn't like to be held in a place of like authority and above other people. He likes to be treated as an equal. He's cool. He sends aid to the Farsight enclaves, helping Torchstar and her buddies get there. He helps Farsight in an honor duel because he's fighting an honor duel against an ethereal guard and he's getting absolutely wrecked. But then Onshi bursts through the doors and says, "I'm going to fight with Farsight and be his buddy." So it's 2v2. He wins the 2v2. Yeah. He badmouths Aunva, which is stupid, by the way. I hate that exists, but whatever. Thanks,
it's illegal.
Yeah, he in the Farsight book, it kind of like hints at how Onshi is working behind the scenes to get rid of the bad guys of the ethereals and like get rid of Aunva. I'm not sure if they really if that's ever going to be pursued unless they like retcon things. I don't know. I've never heard that elsewhere because Aunva just dies in the Damocles Crusade. So who knows? But regardless, he doesn't use the mind control. He's the only ethereal Farsight feels comfortable around. He's just a good guy all around. That's pretty much all of his lore. Not gonna lie.
Oh, I think he's awesome. Is he one of your favorite characters though in all of 40k?
Yeah. He's really cool.
He is a G. He likes people. He is man of peace.
Yeah. He 1v3s Dark Eldar Beastmasters with their beasts and their birds, and the only reason he loses is because he gets poisoned by one of their blades. Otherwise, he was literally beating them. He's such a goat. He's also got an his abs give him a 4+ invulnerable save. He's got a shield generator on the tabletop, even though all this dude is wearing his robes. But he's jacked.
Yeah.
He's shredded.
It's basically Warhammer were designing the Tau, and they were like, we have Avatar at home, and then that's Onshi.
His rules in 3rd edition were very cool and seemed extremely tilting because it was something like he can sacrifice an attack from his attacks profile, and he has like 4 attacks. And for each attack that he gets rid of, the enemy that he's fighting against, or enemies in base contact, lose an attack down to a minimum of 1. So you can just throw him into something and get rid of 2 or 3 of his attacks, and everything all of a sudden only has 1 attack. He's just cool. And he could also lead Fire Warriors.
I'm picturing that SNL skit now. The word around the street is that Onshi is shredded. He is an
He's cool. He's one of the biggest reasons that the Farside Enclave survived, because he played a decent role in helping them against the Tyranid menace on Bolas.
To be fair, though, he's the only living named ethereal. I mean, Aundo's dead. Aunvar's dead. You've just got Onshi. He's all left.
And you know where he is? You know where he is? In Legends. He's not even on the tabletop anymore.
Thank you,
Games Workshop. Thank you very much.
Hey, it can always be worse. You can always be the Dark Eldar.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Literally.
They didn't
You
have
want
the
to play
codex.
with 6 units? Well, okay. How about 3 instead? Literally unbelievable.
How do you feel about any named character that isn't Lilith Hesperax?
I will destroy 10th edition. I will obliterate. I have to make 10 more video essays on why 10th edition is bad.
It could still be worse from there, though. You could then, in turn, be the Fire Slayers.
Does it make you happy, like, to know that they're dropping the word Primaris now, and it's just called Space Marines?
No, because that means they're finally Xing all the Firstborn.
But the new Space Marines that come out at least look like they're kind of upgraded Firstborn, which is all they needed to do at the start of all of this, by the way. They're circling back to the original thing. Oh my gosh. It's classic GW to like give us BS for 5 years and then go back to the thing that everyone wanted in the first place. Oh my
But positivity, am I right?
Yes. Yeah. She's awesome. You should read his little novella, not even novella, it's like a short story. Unfortunately, the only other place to really get his lore is in the Farsight books.
And Eli loves the Farsight books.
Just read like 2 chapters in the most recent Farsight book. Trust me, it's not worth it to read the other 32. But when Onshi shows up, it's awesome.
I didn't mind the Farsight books.
I'm just talking about the last book, like the most recent one. It's bad. It's really bad. But don't worry about it.
Andy, do you have another offering for the good guys of Warhammer?
I've got one coming out of left field. I'm going to talk briefly about Lucas the Trickster. And you might think, hang on a minute, Space Marines are kind of cruel and nasty. Even Grimaldus, who's like, I know he's been for a rough time with the new lore release for the Black Templars. He has moments in Armageddon, but there's also that moment where it's like he's meeting the Invigilata for the first time, and then when the Mechanicus speaks to him, he's like, the next time I am interrupted, I will kill one of you. Like, oh, yeah, nice guy. But Lucas is a different story because this guy is a cheeky chappy. He's known as the clown of the Space Marines, the Loki / trickster of the setting. We do know that he has sired many children who he will never know on Fenris, because he's also a bit of a cheeky chappy in another meaning of the word. But also, he's one of the few Space Marines I can remember reading about in lore who actually gives a damn about protecting innocence and being a good person. Like, for example, in his novel, long story short, the Drukhari invade Fenris because Sliskus thinks, oh, well, I'm a big deal. I need something challenging. I've got an idea. I'm gonna try and do a hunting raiding party on the Space Wolves chapter Homeworld while most of them are away. That'll be funny.
Good book.
Yeah, good book. Good fun book. But during about the midway point, there's a bunch of Fenrisian tribesmen who are attacked by the Drukhari, including a warrior woman, a shield maiden called Hetha, and she's escaping from the Drukhari, and Lucas has a bunch of blood claws with him who are basically like, Lucas, for reference, is every season the Jarls of the Space Wolves have a fist fight to determine who's going to have to deal with Lucas for the season, and the person who loses has to look after Lucas. And in this book, it's Jarl Grimblood. And Lucas and his friends have been exiled because during a feast after they did a lot of work helping to kill a kraken that Jarl Grimblood stole the kill for, he accidentally set fire to his Jarl's beard and face and head, and then dunked him with a casket of beer, and then ran away because all the Space Wolves chapter stationed on Fenris are trying to kill him. Luckily, though, he has a bunch of stashes of Mjod that he's concocted by himself and stashed away in various shrines and outposts that are kind of difficult to get to unless you're a Space Marine. And he just so happens to find Heifer. She's like, "Oh, there are these Xenos killing our people," and he goes, "Oh, well, we're here. We'll go like sort them out." And one of the blood claws with him, Ake, he's like, "Oh, these are mortals. We shouldn't care about them. Who gives a damn?" To which Lucas replies, and I quote, "If the strong do not fight for the weak, then what's the point?" And he basically has a go at his blood claw like comrade, but they don't really like get on very well. He basically meets these guys. They go, "Oh, what's so cool about this guy?" And again, he beats them all up because they pick a fight with him and they lose. And so Ake resents him. And it's just a book of, he shows that, with great power comes great responsibility. There's even a bit where he sneaks back into the Fang, the fortress monastery of the Space Wolves, and he does so through like the catering quarters. And there's this old lady who's obviously been in charge of the kitchens for decades, if not centuries. And she sees Lucas, and Lucas just says, and he's like, "Oh, what have you done now?" And he's like, it's just me. I'm just silly Lucas. I never cause any problems. I couldn't hurt a fly.
Just a funny guy.
And she's like, "You're trouble every time I see you, and I'm glad I don't see you often. Bugger off. You're causing you're going to bring trouble to me." And then he has to go back to his Jarl and the other Space Wolves stationed on Fenris. And just before they like smack him, he's like, "Oh, before you beat me up, there's Drukhari on Fenris. We should probably get rid of them." And they go, "Oh God, we'll get back to you." And then the book ends with him putting a grenade in his chest because he loses one of his hearts. He's a great character, and that book does a great job of also in Stormcaller. He shows himself as like he works well with mortal soldiers, and he's more concerned with people's lives than other Space Marines, and he is irreverent, but he's also like trying to do the right thing. His squad in the Stormcaller book gets captured, and he dunks on Magnus the Red and tricks him. And the last thing Magnus the Red sees of him is him and his friends running into a portal like, "Ha ha ha! We tricked Magnus the Red. That was amazing." And that's
Pranked
what he's
idiot.
like. Yeah, it's like get rotated, idiot, said Lucas. Yeah, Lucas is like one of my favorite characters because he's just, I still think one of the best ideas ever would be you have Lucas the Trickster and Motley the Harlequin teaming up, and it would just be like you'd have a novel called like Court of Fools or something like that, and it'd be like a Deadpool film but in book form with two fourth wall breaking silly characters who know a bit more than they're letting on than other characters in the setting. I think that would be amazing, and that's Lucas the Trickster, and I think he's good.
He could kill anything on the entire tabletop, by the way, if you killed him.
Yep.
And you got
he's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
Which
You
in
one shot
past
Titan.
editions included Titan. Doesn't anymore, unfortunately.
I'm pretty sure he's in Legends now as well. I'm not sure.
Even worse. I wouldn't know, though.
He might get a new model soon, though, to be fair.
Yeah, true. I
before
thought
we
they
do
were
the-
going to give us more Space Wolf models.
I sure wish.
Well, I was saying, it's not. They might do. They might still do though.
I know. New Thunderwolves are
yeah.
coming eventually.
Also, Andy, to the unfortunate last point, that novel will never come out because GW is too busy having the only named Harlequin character be in the Sisters of Battle Codex.
And to be fair, Motley doesn't even have all of his books he features in on the Lexicanium page, which is the only page on the internet that references the books he's in anyway.
Brutal.
So there is that.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Before we do the next one, though, I think we have a few more donos we'll get through. Thank you guys so much.
We've got Pancreas's Silliest Clown. The erection I just got hearing Colin call Bobby G a bad person, in brackets. He's a nice dictator who servitorizes people in double brackets. I swear I love nuance. Very good.
I think if Gilliman
Crazy.
was in a nicer empire, he'd still be doing well. Unfortunately, he is not in a nicer empire.
Nomius Chomsky is such a good name. €5. I'd like to see Colin get Ligma balls.
Disintegrated.
Wow.
Disintegrated.
How you spell it?
Disintegrated.
God, spell.
Doesn't matter. I got three
Don't worry
opinions.
about it.
It's a Watchmen
Funniest shit I
reference.
ever see.
I can see it in my head right now.
Ligma balls.
What is
Denver
Ligma?
Cheese back at it. Thank you for the $4.99. But he actually said Ligma balls to Gilliman, and due to the trauma, he immediately forgot.
Yeah, that's what they actually talked about in the throne room.
Oh, yeah. When oh, sorry.
I say, if someone wants to change, by the way, their channel / title name, please can it be something about like pancreas no work at Denny's or something like that? We'd love to see that, by the way.
Dude, hang on. Now, sometimes a Denny's is a spiritual experience.
It's very true. Don't be hating on Denny's.
The 4 a.m. Denny's brawl.
Dude, you don't get
be
it.
hating
You've
on
not
Denny's,
been to
man.
Denny's at like 10 to 3 in the morning. You wouldn't know.
British MFs just don't get it, man.
Bro, what do you mean?
I
We
still
have
need to
loads of
experience-
things.
I still need to
We love a
experience
good
the
drink.
3 a.m. White Castle experience.
dude,
just
that's
to
heavenly.
survive.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll happen.
that'd be
You
interesting.
will have diarrhea, but it's worth it.
Well, a big one here from Joe. Who wants this one? Who's not read one out yet?
Colin?
Eli? Oh, Colin.
I'll do one this time. Thank you for the 20. My theory is
Thank
the
you,
2nd and 11th Primarch were Native American and African American. 2nd Legion got completely wiped, while the 11th Legion still lived through chapters like the Brazen Minotaurs, which is all black chapter. I have no idea if GW would ever touch something like that.
Well, they have the
Sounds cool to me.
Praetorian Guard, to be fair.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the furthest they've got. So
Rayleigh, thank you for the $5. Skaven, our most morally good, righteous faction. Yes, yes. This chat paid for by Big Skaven. Thank you.
ooh,
Most
real.
morally
I
good
love Big
faction. Yes,
Skaven.
yes.
Thank you, brother. Skaven, Skaven are not possibly they're not capable of being morally good. So
they are inherently morally good. Didn't you read the message?
Yeah.
They're just morally indifferent. Morals don't exist.
Man thing.
Paragons of justice.
You can't break the Geneva Convention if you don't know what it means. It's fine.
Everyone the Skaven have ever killed simply deserved it for not being Skaven, or
That's
for
right,
being
man.
the Skaven in front of that other Skaven.
When did you get hired to be their publicist?
Thankful has done nothing wrong. He is perfect. He is morally
When the
without
t-shirt's
flaw.
dropping.
That'd be an awesome t-shirt, actually. Oh, man.
Just
Jumping though.
like a t-shirt, it's just the Skaven triangle. Pure white t-shirt. Thank you, Kanye West.
Jesus. Can't wait to buy my more expensive white t-shirts. Speaking of jumping into the next character, we're going into this poor guy, this poor innocent man. This is the guy who I feel most bad for in most of the setting, which is yes, Andy, see that yet? It is a character called Katsuhiro, which is a Siege of Terror exclusive character.
I like Katsu. Tasty.
He is Japanese-ish, I guess, technically.
He's Japanese and his name is Katsu. Bro, Katsu's a food.
His name is Katsuhiro, and he is essentially it starts off with he was just a regular low down bureaucrat in a hive city on Terra, and then Horus showed up. So it essentially he is pretty much a naive, bumbling, just regular dude, and he is like most Terrans, swept up and chucked into the Imperial Guard and many other Terran regiments, and they are shoved all the way to the Imperial Palace, and they are basically said, yep, the world's about to die, but we need everybody. So he leaves the life he knew behind, and his story sort of takes off where he's kind of just he literally chucked into massive trains, full of human, just enormous scopes of people. He finally sees the Imperial Palace for the first time in his life, and he's like, that's pretty he can see like the ugliness that's on top of the things that were beautiful because Dawn has completely remade it. Katsuhiro would meet with another man whose name is Doromek throughout this early part. Doromek, I imagine, for some reason, had a Russian accent. I have no idea why. I don't think he does in the audiobook, but in my videos, he does. Check out Terra videos for that. And basically, Doromek takes him under his wing, and Katsuhiro would be given a las rifle. He would be sent into a massive train, and then he is sent to the Helios Gate. And if anyone knows something about this is basically where the first attacks happen. So he goes out beyond the first trench line, beyond the second trench line. Katsuhiro goes to the third trench line, and all the Astartes are still inside the Imperial Palace. So Katsuhiro is one of the first humans who, on his basically Doromek is helping guide him a little bit, but there's also a strange woman who's Doromek kind of knows. Don't know what's going on there. It is pissing it down with ash, rain, snow. They're given equipment that doesn't fit them. And then they see the charging heretics and beastmen on his first day. He also nearly shits himself because ordnance is completely falling from the sky at all times. So he's like, I'm almost dying every single minute. Poor guy then starts yelling and starts properly shooting his las rifle as the first waves of beastmen who are just holding, in the actual story, is one beastman who's just holding a massive wrench, a bar with a big bolt on it, and he just caves in his friends' heads. Katsuhiro finally, he has his man up moment, and he bayonets the beastman.
Nice.
He bayonets the beastman completely into his chest, and he's like, okay, I'm locked in now. Then the Chaos Spawn arrive, and then weeks after weeks of the Siege of Terror, he is basically depressed throughout all of it, but he's changing. He's like, I'm a pretty good shot now. At times over his story, he gets to see characters like Sanguinius, and he's a mortal man, so he's like, holy shit, that's a Primarch. So he makes him, you basically follow his story about how you see, how much war changes an ordinary person, but everyone around him is either going mad or insane, but he still holds on to something that keeps him going. He then sees Angron and then just runs back to the wall immediately. Almost falls to his death, but then finds out he joins the White Scars and the Blood Angels as they charge the Death Guard initially. So he sees Ciaphas Cain, which is pretty amazing. He helps shoot down Death Guard, and he's yelling at them the entire time. He's just a single dude again.
You stink, said Katsuhiro.
Yeah. He's getting a gas mask that doesn't really work correctly. He then finds out that the guy Doromek is basically an Alpha Legion spy the entire time. They manage to fall back the humans. Sanguinius helps rescue the humans and brings them back into the Helios Gate. In which point, Katsuhiro is speaking to Mr. Thade of the Imperial Fist, who would then go on to be in the War of the Beast stuff, whatever. But then Katsuhiro last sees Doromek staring at him in the middle of the crowd and just gives him a single finger and just goes, shh, and then just disappears into the crowd. And Katsuhiro is like, no. He feels we follow him throughout many of the Siege Terror books. He kind of is like everyone else, where he almost thinks there's nothing to live for. He ends up sleeping in a chamber where it describes it just smells of fart the entire time. People are snoring.
Smells in my roommate's door.
Oh no!
Al's favorite video ever.
But Katsuhiro would then go on to, he even sees a random ghost sightings and stuff. He sees weird things. He meets Euphrates Keeler, who would then go on to form the first Imperial cult stuff. He starts to develop a sort of thing where he starts to worship the Emperor slowly over the story. A Blood Angel would give him command as they basically die, and then Katsuhiro would do this next good thing, which is kind of more what he's known for. He finds a man and a child who eventually the man dies, and his child. But Katsuhiro basically just there's this poor infant in the middle of the Siege of Terror, and he just takes it under his wing. And throughout the entire siege, he's everyone kind of helped look after the kid because everyone's that's hope that this will live through it. And he's looking after this child whilst helping, like, fight. And he's there when the beacon is lit again. The beacons are lit.
Beacons lit.
Gondor calls for aid. He's there when the Astronomicon is lit again. And when the siege is over, he fights tooth and nail to keep himself getting food rations and stuff, especially for the child. And he basically adopts the child as his, as his child. And again, unfortunately, I can't do this character justice, but he's just an ordinary bloke. He's just like a single guardsman kind of character who, he just looks, he's a single man. He just adopts his child and he looks after it. He's actually kind to people. He's nice. And he's just, he's a symbol of hope. I think he even becomes something later on. We'll see after the Siege of Terror stuff, like the first church or whatever, but he's just a regular dude. And he fights when he has to, when he's forced to, but essentially he's someone who only wanted a peaceful life, and he'll have it once again after he's gone through the worst experience a human can go through, which is the Siege of Terror. Absolutely. I can't do the scenes that he's in justice, because it is like he's literally staring at like demon primarchs and chaos spawn and other things, and he's just like, he's just like, I'm trying. And he obviously, again, he is kind to other people, and he very much just, he's a human who got through it. And when everyone else is like either broken or destroyed by it, he's kind of not, because he has something else to live for, which is, the generations that will come after. So great character.
Nice guy.
That's my next one. Yeah, Siege Terror only though. So if anyone wants to, there's a lot of Horus Heresy stuff, but you can, if you want, if you know only a little bit of Horus Heresy, just kind of jump into the Siege of Terror if you need to.
If you don't find 54 books appealing, 10 is much better. So go for that.
Well, it's more like a lot of it is like you need some backstory, but a lot of the stories that happen in the Siege of Terror are exclusively to that. It's like it is. I understand why they made it its own series, because there's characters unique to that. Good series. Colin, do you have your next offering for the good boys?
Yes. I'm gonna go. I was going to go with Felix, and then I'm gonna be honest. I kind of started remembering some other things he's done, such as potentially leaving his wife and child when Altdorf was under siege during the end times.
Whoops.
Which even Godric went like, dude, what the fuck?
While pulling the face off a demon, like, dude, you've got problems.
Now, I don't think he's overall a bad person, and I don't think it was bad writing. I do think, however, maybe don't leave your wife and child.
Not very nice.
A Lorecrimes exclusive.
A very hot
leaving
take.
your wife and child.
Don't abandon your wife and child in the middle of a demonic siege.
Yeah, chat. Don't abandon your family.
Life hack.
But no, I'm gonna go with my boy Franz, because by the standards, at least, if nothing else, of Warhammer leaders, faction leaders, pretty up there in terms of not doing monstrous things. He starts humble, right? He didn't even want to be emperor. He does not lust for power. He does not seek to be the guy in charge, no matter how much fate seems to force him into it. But when he did, when he was in the running for the election to become the emperor, he kind of made sure everyone came away winning. It's a short story. It was actually written for Creative Assembly. I always forget who wrote it. But it's a good little story, and it's both a lot of impressive politicking, showing he's smart, but it's also he goes around to all the different electors. Is like, all right, well, if you vote for me, I could do this for you. He does, and then he goes to the next one, and they're like, well, that's gonna hurt me, but he's like, but this thing will help you, and then he does that, repeat for the next 10 electors he has to talk to. Talking to the moot elector was very funny, because he basically, his promises to the moot guy were, I will not let vampires eat you, and I will not let Averland beat you to death.
Wow.
Very easy to get that vote.
More than the halflings deserve, honestly.
I do. That's more than they deserve. Marius Leitdorf did nothing wrong.
Did he promise to kill Stirlanders on sight?
Yeah. If only. But no, and he even he talks to a close companion. He's like, I feel like I've just manipulated anyone, and the guy was like, well, one, that's politics, but two, did you not give everyone what they wanted? He knows how to. He's a politician who actually listens to the people under him. That doesn't happen.
Crazy, unbelievable. Yeah, you can really tell it's a fantasy universe.
Yeah, you can tell this is a fictional story. And then he's always first in line. He unfortunately. There's no real books about him, which hurts me.
Oh.
But he's always described like doing what's best for everyone. There's a certain even if there's only so many ways to describe it, it's not too in depth gone over. If you're making friends with dwarfs and making deals with them regularly, and they're not in a pissing match 24/7, you're probably a decent fella. Or even they have to admit that, you're pretty all right. You're doing good work.
You're okay.
It's like,
for so and so, said the dwarf.
If the elves are at least moderately impressed by you, surely you are at least, intelligent, and they have to believe surely that you're doing good things. We like what you're doing. It's kind of a little basic, but he's my guy. Couldn't not mention him. He honestly fights for the Empire and all, humanity, even if they're not under the Empire. When Kislev's in danger, he sends forces up to help. He's always first in the front line when it's time, push comes to shove. He was at Nordland Shores fighting off chaos. He was at Blackfire Pass. He's not going to ask you to do what he's not willing to do himself. He was fighting the Orc War Boss one-on-one. It's a little more grandiose, than maybe Cain is, a good person. It's a fantasy setting that's, heroes of myth belong there. And he's a good one at that. Not, totally morally good. Largely, and at least, in a diplomacy line in Total Warhammer, he's like, yeah, I've done some bad things sometimes. I am the Emperor. If nothing else, I sometimes tell witch hunters to go deal with that problem. But overall, he does good work. He's a good guy, and he does genuinely fight for, what's good and righteous, even if by nature of him existing in a Warhammer setting, sometimes that does mean some rather unsavory things do occur. He's just a good guy.
He's like Machiavelli good, isn't it?
But less on the fear. Usually he doesn't go for the fear.
Well, it's more like, isn't it?
Unless you are writing about Windows, then he goes for the Reichsguard.
No, that was more about it's like a truly good person is almost a terrible politician in some way, because they're not willing to was it the greater good sort of thing? They're not willing to do things for the greater good. But in a sense of he is a good man for the fact that he protects the Empire better than most would ever do, and therefore more people live, is the grand sum of it, I guess, isn't it? He's the right man.
And his way to protect isn't usually like the classic send 10,000 men to die in this battle against. He's usually like, okay, we're gonna do this right. I'm gonna talk to all the experts. He doesn't bulldoze over anyone. I know that seems like a minor thing, but he's not rocking up to every meeting like, I am the guy in charge. Fuck off. You listen to me now. He's measured. He's intelligent. Things that, make him, he's very charismatic. Good guy to be around. Good guy to listen to. You come away feeling like you've won because he does right by everyone.
And when Immortal Empires calls for it, he's like, we must form an alliance.
Yes. See, look, I'm just, Lord of the Rings. He's the version of Gandalf saying everyone's got to work together. You might think that would be Teclis, but Teclis is too busy putting his foot in his mouth in that trailer.
Yeah. This is just another LD scheme.
What if
That's what you tell him.
What if we sent the socially awkward magical elf to do diplomacy? Surely this will not fail.
Sorry, Mom, I'm busy right now trying to sacrifice my niece to bring back dead gods.
Hey, end time slander lore. Before that, he was a good person.
And to be fair, whenever it's called for, Karl Franz just brings down the ban hammer and just goes, enough! Stop being idiots!
He keeps everyone in line. He's like a cool teacher, a good teacher. He keeps you in line. You can't be fooling around, but he's gonna work with you.
And every year he raises money for Movember. Like, oh, what a good guy. Good teacher.
Can I get a blessed Sigma for Karl Franz?
Is it?
Dance monkey, dance monkey.
Fuck you. Blessed Sigma. It's amusing to me too. So
glorious. Eli, did you have another? Did you have two short ones? Did you say?
Yes, I have two short ones, and I also forgot I could talk about Nemesaur Xandric because he's the G. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But he's also only in one novella, so GW just doesn't like my favorite characters, but it's fine.
He's in Twice Dead King as well. Calm down.
Yeah, okay, yeah, one chapter. Okay,
he's in a chapter.
Whatever. We most of us know who he is, so I'll just be quick about it. But Nemesaur Xandric is a classic Necrons character. He is Overlord of Gidrum, Pharaon even, I suppose, but he's not Pharaon, sorry. He's Overlord of Gidrum. He's part of the Sautek dynasty. He's perhaps the greatest military mastermind in the galaxy, potentially on par with people like Imhotep, who is indeed the greatest mastermind in the galaxy. BTFO, Primarch fans, not happening today. Imhotep wins no diff. But anyways, Xandric is extremely talented. He's literally a genius. But he's kind of crazy, and he supposedly thinks that they're all still flesh and blood beings, and he's still just fighting Necron tier rebels and separatists. Although if his madness is actually real, or if he's choosing to just see things how they are, is unsure. The book kind of implies that he maybe isn't actually that crazy. But I digress. He's a funny guy. He has a sense of humor. He spends most of his time with his best friend, Oberon, and for the good parts, he's extremely honorable. He still abides by the old codes of honor that the Necron tier people hold, which includes taking prisoners and capturing the enemy commander, giving him a feast, letting him go if there's like a parlay and his debt is paid or whatever. He doesn't use
for a White Scar just getting out, and he's like, I like how you got spirit. You can go. Like,
he doesn't use canoptics because he doesn't like using mindless robots, which is ironic, obviously, because most of his warriors are. But regardless, he doesn't like using mindless robots. He never uses death marks because they're not honorable. What else?
Bro doesn't know where he is. He's like, oh, it's still the war's war in heaven. He's like, he's man, that was a while back.
He says lots of whimsical and silly things, and it usually all ends up going around in a circle to actually be strategic genius. He's just a nice guy. As far as Necrons go, he is probably the only good guy in the Necrons, because Necrons might be, well, Jazeris is also on my list, I should say, but Necrons are on average probably the most evil in the setting, honestly, aside from your average Chaos Space Marine, I suppose.
Xandric's quite irreverent as well. He's just kind of there for the ride, like, oh, what's happening? This reminds me of back in the day. Like, oh, man.
He seems to have real emotion, which is pretty much unheard of in the Necrons. He loves his Nemesaur. He loves his Vargard Oberon. Oberon loves him. They are truly the best buddies. It's a great bromance. He has the whole scene where Oberon's freaking out. He's like wanting them to take a piece of this machine that could maybe bring their souls back. As Xandric's like, don't worry, pal. You have a soul. You've been loyal to me this whole time. How could you not have a soul if you have love and stuff like that?
Question, Eli, as the resident Necron. I was going to say, which one's the top, which one's the bottom? You beat me to it. How dare you?
It's not that kind of love. Get it out of here. Get
out of here.
It's
dirty minds.
But anyways, these freaking goofballs, man. What was I even talking about? I don't know. He's nice. He has love and emotion and soul, which is basically doesn't exist in the Necrons. As Andy said, he let a White Scar go. What's his actual name?
Corsairo Khan.
Corsairo Khan and Illic Nightspear. Unfortunate. It was a bit of an unfortunate showing of Illic Nightspear, who's also really cool.
Forgot Corsairo Khan's name. Andy will be sending you a package in the mail.
They get captured by Xandric, as again he takes prisoners, and Corsairo Khan stages a prison break. Vargard Oberon, being the goat that he is, knocks out Nightspear, Illic, and pretty much destroys Corsaro. No diff at all.
It's Necron BS, like with
no, it's
Hellcat,
literally no
like,
diff.
Oh, I got Necrodermis. Oh, cheats, hacks.
Oberon is also one of the best.
God mode engaged.
Oberon is top 10 duelists in 40k, not including Primarchs, because you don't have those.
Yeah, but like Corsaro's top 5. So what's going on?
Oh, okay. Anyways,
it's like it's like an honorable duel, but one of them's like a vampire and the one of them's like a regular dude. It's like
Space Raid is not a regular dude. Oh my gosh. Whatever.
It does like the power scale.
Yeah. Corsaro Khan gets his butt beat. But then Xandrek comes in because Oberon's about to kill them both. And Xandrek says, "You guys fought really well. You can go." And then they just leave.
And then Corsaro grabs Illic by like the ankle and drags him to the ship, which I thought was quite amusing.
Yeah, Xandrek often invites enemy commanders to his like feasts and stuff where he rambles poetry and old war stories.
Shovels raw meat into his face grill.
And he shovels his plate's usually empty. He's not a flayed one. But yeah, he's just a funny guy. He's nice. Very different interaction from what you usually get in Warhammer, especially with the Necrons. I like him. He's my
senile grandpa in space who's made of
Oberon are awesome, and I really wish they still existed. I hope they get new models in 11th edition because it's really sad that they're in Legends, but they are mentioned in the Codex at least. So like GW hasn't completely forgotten about them. Read Severed. It's the best Necron book out there. And no diffs, infinite and divine, literally. So go read that. That's my character. That's my choice for this one.
Before we do the next one, do you think there's a few more donos just to get through?
We've got 3 more. First one from Denver Cheese again. Anyway, Colin, talk about Halo more, so I continue to live in denial.
I just made a grunt video.
Thank you.
It's tough being a Halo fan when like the most amazing thing recently was a cameo in another popular game.
It was not in Halo.
What killed Halo for you guys?
Halo killed Halo. 343 Industries killed it so bad they had to change their name to Halo Studios. That's how bad it was.
I mean, killed it. I still like Halo. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
But what's going wrong?
I don't think we have the hour.
There's a great video I've seen. I sent it to Colin recently because I rewatched it, and it's like I'll take this down for a second. It's side by side the 343 Studios guys and the Bungie guys talking about how they make a Halo game. And it's like night and day where it's like, it's all about competitive. And then Bungie, it's like, it's about fun. It's like, this is how we make characters compelling. We make the Master Chief have it. And it's like, he's just a suit of armor. You imprint on it. It's so stark seeing that 343 had no idea what Halo was about while making the games. And at least in my opinion, that's like a good video to talk about.
It's over
Crazy
Halo,
what happened to Bungie
it's
later, though.
And then they made the TV show, and it's like, he's never wearing the helmet, and he's naked. Why has Master Chief got his kit off?
I don't know.
It back on.
That's Master
how
Chief.
How did that even get past screening?
Master
bro?
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. What a flop. Anyways, we're here to talk about Warhammer.
Anyway.
Colin's least favorite schoolgirl, sad winky face. Wow. Thank you for the $2. Who was Shalaxi's What a Scripper, I believe. Are you happy now? Did I do well, Big Papa Andrew?
I'm happy. I'm always happy.
That's crazy, man. Skarsnik's top guy, formerly known as Thanos. 59 knock every time. It's a great channel name. No one is as nice and morally stable as the true ruler and warlord of the 8 Peaks. Archeon is the close second.
This guy's got his priorities straight.
Shame about the end times, Skarsnik lore.
The lore, they forgot about him, and Josh Reynolds had to tell out of universe what happened to him.
Oh, that's
classic.
Is that the last one there, Andy? Or
yes, that is.
Okay.
Right. Awesome. Andy, do you have another one to add into the list?
I have some backup ones. I'll mention briefly one because I recently reread Flight of the Eisenstein. I also really like Caleb Aaron, who's the house Carl of Nathaniel Garrow. This guy failed at being a space marine. He couldn't get through the trials. But even though most space marine initiates who fail die wherever they just fall over, Nathaniel Garrow was like, oh, this is wasteful. I'll save your life. And you can be my house Carl, which is basically like a squire. And in the Horus Heresy books, like all of Garrow's men actually get on quite well with Caleb. There's even a guy called Hakur or Haker, and there's a bit where no. And he's all like, they're having a chat, and then they're like, "Oh, did you hear Mortarian's in the fleet? We're going to see Mortarian." And Caleb gets distracted, and he's just like, "Caleb, get about your business." Like he's nice to him. He's like one of the few Space Marines in the Legion who calls him by his name. He'd be like, "Caleb,"
instead of what,
right,
slave?
instead of serf or
same thing.
Get out of my way, weakling. Like Ignatius Grulgor has a bit where another Space Marine is like, "Why is this weakling here?" And he's all like, well, this guy, he pretended he thought he could be a Space Marine, but he sucks. He's stupid, and he sucks, and he's ugly. He's like, I've got to go. I've got to go. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize we like kept them alive after they failed. I was like, well, no, Garrow's stupid, and that's why he's alive. I hate Garrow. You should hate Garrow too. And but like Caleb not only is a Chad for saving Garrow in the 70s life by hurling himself into a sealed compartment to kill Ignatius Grulgor and his men when they basically Grulgor aims his bolter at Garrow. Caleb shoots him with a star, pings off his helmet, chucks a knife, which, bearing in mind for a Space Marine, is like an actual sword for a mortal person, goes through Caleb's chest, and he like crawls through the compartment. They don't notice him because they're like, oh, he's just like this weakling. Presses the button, seals them in, because the bolt fire from Grulgor accidentally pierced one of the virus bombs, and they all die. And to the point where when they're all reborn into Plague Marines and stuff, Caleb's body resurrects, but there's nothing inside. So maybe his soul went directly to the side of the Emperor as the first martyr of the Imperium. Who knows? But yeah, he's pretty amazing. He also was proud to be part of the Death Guard, even though he wasn't a Space Marine. He was like, I'm going to do my job well, and I'm an integral part of the Legion. He delighted in, he got to go into the sections of the ship where only Space Marines were allowed to go, so he really liked that privilege, and he was just like, I'm just going to make sure that I'm the best squire I can be. Garrow's my friend, so I'm going to like look after him. And he got to chat with other Space Marines in Garrow's great company, and like, I like Caleb. He did a good job. He was always, forthright, and he did his best. And when push came to shove, he killed Ignatius Grulgor, and everyone clapped. We like Caleb.
He did save. He saved Garrow's life as well. He prayed. He prayed to the Emperor above Garrow as he was on the edge of death, and something answered.
Injured,
The Emperor's not a god, though, guys. The Emperor's not a god.
No, not at all.
Well, something answered. It doesn't even say the Emperor did. It's like it's from the perspective in the book, they say it's because Garrow recognizes later on that it's like Caleb who saves him. Like Caleb's desire
willpower
for him to live, his willpower was like a tether to keep him being eaten from weird demons. The stuff when Garrow is really dying.
I would like to quote Futurama here, which is God in that show saying, if you do everything right, no one will know you've done anything at all.
I did have one. I mean, I was going to say Dante is the last one, but I think because Dante will be his own full episode as explainer at some point. But I do have one last side character, one who is kind of a good guy. He is called Gaius Raculus. I always liked him. He's probably no one's favorite character, but I've always liked this guy, and he is essentially a part of the Blood Angels chapter, and he is often in he's only really in the Mephiston books and / Devastation of Baal as well. He is an epistolary, which means he is quite high up in the Librarius. Gaius is old. He is an old Space Marine and an old Blood Angel. The fact that he also has grey hair, which, by the way, I'd like to point out, Dante doesn't have grey hair. The artworks often have Dante having grey hair. It describes him when he meets the lion, he has long flowing black hair. So it's like, Gaius Raceless has a grey beard, and he is an old librarian, which first of all is pretty impressive because most time librarians get killed all the time. Gaius Raceless,
I was going to say not being funny, but also when your chief librarian is Mephiston, Mr. Marvel superhero landing, does whatever he likes, changes the flow of time bullshit. It's like, yeah, like being an epistolary is the rank below chief librarian. If Mephiston wasn't there, he'd probably be the guy in charge, but he's Mephiston.
Yeah.
You're not going to be better than Mephiston.
Gaius is often seen as like, he knew Mephiston before he was Mephiston. He knew Calistarius. He's kind of often seen as like the big uncle to a lot of the Blood Angel librarius. He has lots of Ankh energy. But he's often very hard on the new recruits guys, but that's often because he kind of wants them to be strong enough to live, and because he gets I'll explain that later. But essentially, also when Mephiston was first reborn in Hades' hive, he was the guy who was like, let's not kill this guy. Hang on a minute. You're something different here. And he's the one who stood up for Mephiston to the point where the chapter would accept him and not just try and kill him on sight. So it's pretty good for him. Raculus is often as well Mephiston's greatest supporter in terms of he's like, this guy does so much of the chapter and he's a potential for like, first of all, Raculus is old, so he's fought off the Black Raid longer than pretty much a lot of people, even like Dante. He's not as old as Dante, but he's old like Dante. And he's very hard on new recruits, said before, but he's again quite kind to mortal beings. He respects humans quite a lot, and racist throughout the stories. He's often, particularly one of them, I can't remember his name, but he's looking after this younger librarian who's like obsessed with Mephiston, and racist was like hard on him throughout most of the stories, being like, you can do better than that. And then eventually when the young guy does die, Raceless is the first one, like he's immediately like, he's gutted about it, because he's like, man, like that's the whole point, is like I was hard on him because I really wanted him to live. And he gets upset, particularly around like when Blood Angels do obviously pass, and he even when Mephiston was at his lowest points, Gaius Raceless is like, so what? You don't have to be the savior of everybody or anything like that. You know what you can just do? You just do one good thing. And he's like, they're on this random world where like the Necron tomb was awakened like decades before, and all the humans are basically like, yeah, we're fucked. But and they're like, Mephiston doesn't know what to do because his like mind is deteriorating, and he's like, stop trying to do everything at once. Just do one good thing and fight. That's the whole point, that we just fight for the Imperium and the Emperor. We fight for humanity. And so he's always the one who's like sort of that good voice behind Mephiston, who like often feels detached from humanity. Gaius Raceless is Mephiston's humanity in a lot of the stories. He keeps him tethered. He also, again, is his greatest defender when Dante's like, maybe I should kill Mephiston. So then he's like, no, we can't. He is the hope of the chapter. He's not the end of it. And he's just pretty damn strong too, as well. The guy can throw a fucking thunderbolt from his, he can cast thunder from his dick or something. Who knows? The guy's actually pretty damn strong.
The ability.
Yeah, but it's like there's a point where, like in the third Mephiston book, Mephiston just goes, he literally goes ligma balls, and he literally splits himself into 3 different beings. So he sends his body like over this burning effigy, and he uses his body to like absorb the heat as it's like scorching itself. He sends his soul into the warp to chase a demon, and then he sends his mind into Raceless and basically acts like an extra librarian's mind with him, and they double up together. Pretty nuts book, that one. Is pretty weird because like Mephiston awakens in the warp and he's like a flayed man who's like on fire. So it's really weird.
Like the idea that then Mephiston's mind entered Raceless and just went, "You son of a bitch," and then they just went, "Wah!" and just psychic bolts everywhere.
Yeah. Poor Raceless, like he's the guy, like he always lives. He's the one guy, like when so many others do die, he's always the guy who just makes it out. And again, he's pretty ready to go, like Dante as well. But he's an indomitable soul, and he is the humanity amongst all the Blood Angels, and he is a good boy. I'd like him very much. Although, again, he's not the star of the show, but he is very much the soul of what would be a soulless man. So yeah, I like him.
Ooh.
Is there any more we wanted to tackle, or is that
my last one's pretty brief?
Okay,
go ahead, Colin.
I haven't fully finished reading his series, but it's Matthias Thulman, the Witch Hunter, who he is a witch hunter who, much like Inquisitors, they do your best to get rid of those pesky moral conscience holders, any holdouts you might have on shooting people in the face. But in that framework, witch hunters are actually beholden to imperial law, so they can't quite as easily murder people. Quite as easily. And it almost, it's about as close in that context for Thulman specifically to be a witch hunter with a conscience. He, for example, he pays he'll pay for services. Like, he doesn't show up and he's like, let me kind of backtrack a bit. He will show up, like, let's say he's, investigating a town. He's going to requisition himself a nice room at the inn, but he's going to pay for it. He's not going to just say, I'm a witch hunter, bow down. He'll pay for drinks and lodging, which, again, where this is all by the standards of witch hunters and Inquisitors, he's a good person. He's got a friend who, oh God, I hurt my mouth. Pardon me. He's got a friend who's a bit of a hedonistic fella, his little sidekick, who he keeps around because he's competent. He does regularly tell his little sidekick buddy that when you die, Sigmar will make you account for your many, many sins. But, credit where it's due. He's seeing someone being a bit of a freak sometimes, and he doesn't just execute them on the spot,
A freak.
This is all by witch hunter standards. He doesn't kill you for not waking up, going to work, praying, and then going to bed. That's pretty good by these standards. He also, this is just pretty impressive by anyone in Warhammer. Early on, before his books start, he executed a lady for, the specifics are rather heavy to just talk about, so we'll move past, but she was a little corrupted by warpstone. Normally, an Inquisitor or a witch hunter would go, right, everyone in your family now needs to go as well. You just all got to die. Mr. Thulman did not do that. He let her husband live, and even after that, her husband, who was seeking vengeance for dead wife, attacked Thulman out of nowhere. Like, he came rocketing through into his inn room and just started throwing hands. Thulman beat him, and he didn't kill the husband. Even on this second time, he's like, I get it. I understand why you are unhappy. If you do this again, I am going to have to kill you. But you know what? I get it. It's a rough circumstance. I'm not going to do it this time. You're not thinking clearly. Go pray to Sigmar. Go.
Oh, I say that Annie was frozen for a second. Then I was like,
we had a brief moment where I think the internet cut out for a second, but it's okay. You were saying about Thulman, so you might want to go back like a tiny bit.
Oh, he was just when the guy whose wife he killed, he showed up for vengeance on him and just started throwing hands with him. He beat him, disarmed him, and did not kill him. Which, again, this is a witch hunter we're talking about. That is some pretty damn insane restraint and morality right there. Which, he's a witch hunter. He's not a good person. He will kill you at the stake. He's just, by witch hunter standards.
In front of my tactical dreadnought? How dare you?
Great. I know. I'm sorry. By the standards of witch hunters and Inquisitors, if you had to be overseen, if one of them was going to be overseeing your trial, Mr. Thulman is probably not a bad go. Because, if you're innocent, then he will vouch for you. He's a good guy. I've not fully finished his series. I'm reading through the omnibus now. It is good. I would recommend. Yes. It's and they're nice. They're fun books. Decent, well written enough. They're not the most amazing things Warhammer's put out, but that follows a witch hunter around. That's always fun. This one almost has a conscience, like I said. That's pretty unique. And in that framework, he's a decent fella. Could always be better, but at a certain point, you got to accept that it's a witch hunter. A certain amount of the ends justify the means is unavoidable.
He stayed into the end, so he's on the line. But
yeah,
he's an all right bloke.
I don't think he's going to be donating to any orphanages, but he's not going to burn them down because they might be chaos corrupted.
Well, he may donate to them in other ways from people whose parents are targets. So
there was one scene in the books where he's like, he was talking to another witch hunter, and he said, to save face for our order, I told them to disperse, but if they ripped you apart in a mob, I wouldn't blame them.
Dang.
Which, by God, both hard line and hey, that's got to count for some sense of morality. He didn't just cover for the witch hunter because another witch hunter.
Nice, man.
Cool.
There are some. I think there are some. Really, not Eli?
Heck yeah, it's some more.
Go for it.
I can be quick. Where am I? I'll be quick. I'll be really quick. Lucas Bastone. He's a Acadian sergeant, the best sergeant in the whole guard. He doesn't take any other promotions because he likes being a sergeant. He is, well, like I said, the best sergeant the Imperial Guard had. He's a genius. He's an incredibly inspiring leader. He's a 5th edition and before character. Shout out. He's extremely fearless, extremely brave. His special rule is, it's up to us, lads. He just goes to extreme lengths of heroism, and he always does what he needs to do no matter what. He cares extremely for all the guardsmen under his command, and anytime he loses someone, he has a perfect memory, yet he still goes to tattoo their name on his body so that he never, ever forgets the people who he's lost under his command. He has one little story where they had some operations going on a Nurgle infested planet with demons and just general horrible corruption, and they leave one of their men behind, so he goes back onto the planet to save this guy. The guy is corrupted by Nurgle, so he kills him himself and gives him a quick end. Really cool guy. He was martyred on Cadia, and that's about it. And then as was mentioned kind of in the comments already, Jaehaerys, whatever, from Twice Dead King is a really cool Necron character. He spends literally probably thousands, if not more, hours engraving and cleaning his immortals, and then on their last stand, the immortals engravings light up so that their story can be told. So that's their life story that's engraved upon them because their voices were taken from them by the Catan and they can no longer speak or really think that well. So he tells their story for them. He helps out Ultix a lot. He's just a nice guy.
Good brother. Good brother. And you don't have any more to donate?
That's so we have got 3. So the first one from Donkey Man USA. Clearly, the best morally good character is Yakub.
Yeah, baby.
On him.
Christ alive.
Lord. Darth Sasquatch. That's a fun name. Trazyn the Infinite is morally good and the best Warhammer character.
He is not morally good, but he is not. He is
He has an unwilling library of live people.
He is affably evil.
Yeah.
I think he'd be fun to talk to until he put me in a museum.
He has his moments of being nice, but that's not enough to make him a good guy.
There are much worse people. He's not good.
There certainly are.
This guy taunted someone he was like, "Oh, by the way, you annoyed me, so therefore I'm going to put you in an eternal jail, but I want to let you know first before I do it, just so you can think about it for the next however many years you're going to be stuck in there." Bye. Yeah, not a good person. Very exuberant and
was it
not as evil as could be, I suppose.
Yeah. Was it a Death Watch team that he stuck across from an orc war boss, and they're both fully aware of that? Is that what I'm remembering? It was something that, I feel.
And he took away Clone Room. He took him away.
All right, you need
never to return.
Everyone needs to get over that.
I'm never gonna get over it.
And he also in the animation for Warhammer Hammer and Bolter is oh, Black Legion Terminators, I'll do you a deal. Every time you enter this place, if you ever don't enter and you leave, you can escape this loop, which I'm going to put you in, where for eternity. You're going to get to the core where the prize is, and then you'll be trapped in this kind of, again, like Groundhog Day situation, and they never do. And he's like, ha 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 ha, I'm such a shit. Oh, Trazen, you silly Billy.
He's a funny guy. Caleb Collins.
Funny goober.
No,
thank you for $2. Thank you for the $2, Caleb Collins, and the good message. Malekith, the true Phoenix King, redeemed himself. That's right. He always was the right Phoenix King. That's the only piece of end times lore that's canon.
Yeah,
that's
he redeemed himself so well that Ulthuan sank immediately after. Oh yeah, great job there, buddy. Fucking idiot.
Also another one from Caleb.
I hate Malekith. I don't. I like Malekith.
Boingob is best boy. Also, Princess the best. Pet Squig.
Real.
I like them both.
And you.
Very real. And
hey, Neon.
Neon.
Elf Graves. Good to see you again, buddy. €5. Having recently educated myself on modern woman romance novels. Great choice, by the way. Crazy plot lines. I think that GW should get into that market by releasing erotica stories.
Okay.
I need to find the. I saw on Twitter a horrible one lately, but I can't bring it up without finding it because I'm going to sound insane if I don't.
Is it the one where it's like? Is it like I was attacked by a werewolf or something like crazy?
No, it involves minotaurs.
Oh, never mind.
As in Games Workshop Minotaurs or
like
Minotaurs? Oh, his hoofs. I heard them clopping along. Like,
Games Workshop also has more traditional Minotaurs, but those...
Yeah. And on that note, good characters in Warhammer.
Thank you guys for all the donations.
Thanks
very much.
Right, don't forget him.
Thank all the goodest there.
For the question of the week last week, I believe Colin, who grabbed that from the episode of Absolute Cinema, which is obviously a good episode. Go check that one out.
Hashtag cinema moments. I presume the question. Just what's a moment you just find nice and cinematic. It's just peak. It's great. One, I've got 4 here. Nerdcasting 40K. Hashtag cinema. Got 2. The first is Rylanor's Last Stand. Real. And the second is Gotrek and Felix fighting the Chaos Corrupted Dragon Ogre and Kinslayer. That was also just pretty. That was like heavy metal album cover it was like lightning all over the place. It's Gotrek and Felix. Snorri's there too, and we don't need to talk about Snorri for the rest of these book appearances there. That's okay. Later. It was peak. It was great.
I feel like I was when I saw the because I'd heard so much about the Rhino Last Stand before I'd read it, and now that I have read it, I'm almost like I do think people overhyped it to me. Unfortunately,
I agree. Rylanor is overhyped. Rylanor is overrated.
He's definitely got overhyped, but I can always appreciate the I have a bomb strategy. That's real.
It is cool. It
is cool though.
Even though the Thousand Sons should probably get some more credit for their role in that story than they deserve, than they do.
Yeah, one of the guys shot his own Thousand Sons in the back of the head to stop the shield thing.
No, that was to start it. He shot him in the head because he was holding it, wasn't it?
He was holding it back, and he was like,
"Yeah,
sorry." Boom. Crazy.
Probably less agonizing than the virus bomb melting you, though.
Yeah,
I would rather take gunshot to brain.
God. I will rant one time about Fulgrim lore because I am so much like, oh god, he's so annoying to me now. I used to really like Fulgrim, and then I learned about him.
They should keep doing that in the future. Just keep throwing virus bombs at Fulgrim whenever he shows up. Like, no,
please,
shut up. Andy BK Hound, hashtag cinema. Dorn leading the counteroffensive on the Saturnine walls. From Sigismund's courage sometimes outstrips his ability. Mine doesn't.
Mine does not.
Try me, as he shakes his shoulders off and braces for a fight against some 100 veteran Emperor's children. Pretty real.
And Fulgrim.
And Fulgrim.
He has Dorn has a shield, and he just takes the whole brunt of Fulgrim, and he's like, I think he keeps stabbing him, and then eventually he runs Fulgrim through, which he loves, obviously. And then Fulgrim's like, I'm bored now.
Emperor's Children's fans be like, Fulgrim just left because he was bored, as if the end result isn't still a Rogel Dorn victory.
Hey, read the freaking book. Rogel Dorn says Fulgrim was going to destroy me, and I'm really scared of it.
And
Verbatim.
and who left the battlefield doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you leave. Doesn't matter if you leave because you're bored. You still left.
Eli is right, where Dawn says literally like Fulgrim would have been the most dangerous thing, and he could have cut through the entire line if he wanted to. But thank God he is so easily like distracted and bored.
He's freaking Gunnar pilled, Boomer maxed.
I don't know.
You're not wrong.
The freaking demon Fulgrim is so lame, man.
You'd never hear Jagatai saying, "I was scared of my brother."
Rumbledore did say he was scared.
Skill issue. He'd be like, "Skill issue, pussy," and then he fights him anyway. That's the Jagatai way.
Dawn was terrified that the fact they had nothing to stop him. Really, Dawn only just held him there, like he didn't. He's like, "You're just an idiot standing on a wall," you know.
The next one, Donkey Man USA. In Demon Slayer, Felix grabbing the hammer of fate, praying to all the gods he can, and throwing it at a bloodthirster. You know, that's
a God-driven Felix book I've actually read. That's
pretty
so
real.
Cool.
It's it's real and moderately funny. Well, a little funny because he's just throwing names out after like a couple gods. He's like, anyone, dude, I don't care who, give me a hand, and it worked. Even the dwarfs, we kind of looked at him with awe. It was like, damn, that's pretty impressive, dude. And then the last one is one I kind of disagree with. I wanted to bring it up for that is from Thunder's 950. When Gilliman tried to lecture Angry Ron, and Angry Ron called the girly man a pretty boy, well bleeding and spitting everywhere. I got to be real. I don't think that courage and honor speech really makes Angron look any better.
Listen
when he's
talking. I don't think he's saying to make Angron look good. I think he's saying it makes
cinema.
sound bad.
It's a cinema moment. I see them two fight.
It is.
I guess. I don't know. I think that speech is very overrated because baby man Angron spends the rest of his life pitching a fit.
Nah, Angron's right. Angron's right about everything he says.
Was it very like what would you know of struggle? Like, what would you know of struggle? Perfect son, isn't it? Like that's just the whole point.
Courage and honor. Do you know even the meaning of those words? You know, that's his whole thing.
Everyone hates on Angron, but we would be the exact same if any of us were.
Said to man who watched his father die in front of him, and then was fighting in the vacuum of space for 13 hours straight.
That's literally nothing compared to what happened to Angron, bro. Are you serious?
I had to fight normal people as the demigod of war.
Gosh. This guy
all you got to do to diffuse this is if you were Gilliman, you just say, well, at least I had a mum. Like, poor Angron didn't have any.
Angron did have a dad.
Didn't have a mum.
I don't even dislike Angron.
Angron had like
I don't know why I'm filled with such hate towards that moment. I just don't like that moment. I think it's just. I look at that moment like Rylanor. A lot of people look at Rylanor like, yeah, okay, Angron had a cool point. Okay.
I think
stop putting nails in your kid's brain.
The Angron moment is the holding up the Titan's foot moment, isn't it?
That? Now that's peak.
That is peak.
Yeah. Angron, like early on, like, it's unfair that all of these innocent people were killed for no reason. Also, Angron, I'm going to kill a bajillion people. Lol, 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 lol. Like, Angron, be consistent. Be consistent.
There's no consistency allowed in the horse heresy, Mr. Andy.
My poor neighbor.
You'll get 12 authors writing the same characters, and you'll like it.
My poor neighbor, because I've been yelling my Angron. I've recorded up all my Angron audio recently, and I didn't realize I had to reread Betrayer for this. Do you know that Lorgar like calls him out, and he says, "Isn't it crazy? Like your nails are different from your son's ones," and he's like, "Huh." And he's like, yeah, when your butcher's nails like start working, your mind goes blank, and you basically that's how you dream. You're basically like in a dream state. Whereas your sons, it just turns them into rage, like blood crazy curdling berserkers. He says like you just do it because you're a coward. And he's like the big. I didn't realize like the big secret is that Angron's butcher's nails are different.
But also there's Lorgar being like, Lehman Russ was right. You're an idiot. No, you didn't win that fight against Lehman Russ. No, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And he's like, no, I'm not. I won. It's like,
but he did win the fight if you don't care about making it out of the fight.
Which he doesn't. He's been trying to there's a few short stories I managed to pick up, and he's desperately trying to die. the entire time. Like it's no secret. He's like, he literally is like, there's nothing wrong with me dying. I'm okay with that. I died ages ago. He's so ready.
Also, Eli, careful what you wish for with that monkey's paw of author consistency, because then you get Nick Kime Salamander.
I know. You get Nick Kime Salamanders and Phil Kelly Tau, and then you just freaking like jump off the building.
They're quite consistent indeed.
Isn't it crazy that Nick Kime did the Salamanders and the Marines Malevolent? Like that's a weird contrast of stuff to be writing for. What's going on?
Maybe he should have stuck to the Malevolent because they're the funny asshole chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are the Marines Malevolence books fun at least, Andy? Like, are they better than the Salamanders book?
Well, the bits I've read, like they're basically all short stories, but like one of them is like, oh, they're in a space Hulk, and it basically ends up that one of them kills his commanding officer because he thinks he's weak, and then none of them protect each other when they can, and they're all just dicks to one another. Like, oh, cool.
That's why that goes even for Warhammer standards. It just goes up to like full circle to being funny.
And then like they're kind of chaos corrupted maybe, and then they go back to their captain Vinyar, who's the one who badmouths Tushan, and he's just like, all right, you owe me a favor of like you do everything I ever tell you to do. And they're like, fine. Like, these guys are not right. These are wrong-uns.
I don't want her to be chaos corrupted. I like that they're just awful on the road. It's funny. It's like, why did you kick that puppy? It was there.
Well, I don't know about, maybe chaos isn't the right word, but they go into the ship and they something happens to them, and then Vinyar's like, I can work with this, but like, you do as I say. Ugh, okay, you guys are the worst.
Speaking of a new question of the week, though, I guess we should continue on the theme about. We didn't prepare one before, did we? But we should ask about like, what's maybe a moment in Warhammer where you're like, that was wholesome, that was good, that was wholesome, or a nice little bit like that.
Wholesome.
I mean, hashtag wholesome for your wholesome Warhammer moment. It doesn't have to be like the best thing ever, because obviously it's by Warhammer standards, but you know, someone where you're like, damn, that still sticks with me, and Warhammer Lore is good. That being
Teclis was determined to protect some humans him and Tyrion were traveling with, because the elves looked both down on the humans and him for being wrong. You know what? Real.
I mean, we didn't mention this episode, but the obvious one would have been Pedro Cantor, but people might say that for their comments. So, but again, if there's anything else, I think, as always, thank you guys for listening, for watching, subscribing, listening to us while you're painting, probably either working. I know some of you guys are on night shifts, so I hope that's going well for you guys. Again, Lorecrimes here every week to entertain you guys. Chill out, listen to the podcast. We are obviously on Discord, so please do join that. We have merch, we have all that good stuff, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye everybody.